So in my last class, I started with measurement of self-inductances. Okay, so first we discussed about the Maxwell inductance bridge. Okay, so I think all of you are gone through that portions from any of the standard books. Okay, and the phasor diagram, because in case of bridge circuit, most important factor is your phasor diagram. Okay, so how do you draw the phasors? Okay, so in my last class, I just started with some basic operations for bridge circuits, means AC bridge circuit. So where that 4 ohms means 4 inductance, sorry, 4 impedance need to be calculated for individual bridges. So first we are much more focused about measurement of inductance, then measurement of capacitance, and sometimes measurement of frequency. So for individual things, so we are having individual bridge circuits. So first we started with general structure. Okay, so we need to find out that values of Z1, Z2, Z3, and Z4. So we have already started and discussed in self-inductance, measurement of self-inductance by using Maxwell inductance bridge. Okay, so in this case we are much more focused about for finding out that Z1 value. So it was your Z1, okay, then it's your Z2, okay, so then it's your Z3, and finally it's your Z4. So 4 impedance you need to be find out. Then you have to calculate. That means at balance condition. So you know the expression. What was that expression? Expression of Z1 Z4 equal to Z2 Z3. Okay, it's your expression. Okay, so first we are comparing with that magnitude. Then we discussed about the angle. Okay, so then it was your first case. It was your Maxwell inductance bridge. So for find out that self inductance, where you are able to understand that Z1 was your unknown. So unknown inductor is your L1. So unknown inductance was your L1 and standard value of L2. So L2 is your standard value, means it's a variable path inductance. It having some standard value. So it was your Maxwell inductance bridge. So next one is your Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. Okay. So in case of Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge, so you all of you can understand that in this case you have to find out the which one is your Z1. So Z1 is your what? The impedance of arm A and B. The impedance within the arm AB, it is known as Z1. What is the Z2? So impedance of arm A to C. So arm AC that contains Z2 impedance. Then in case of Z3, that you can understand what is your Z3. Z3 is your impedance of arm BD, and finally Z4 is your impedance of your arm CD. Okay, so it's your Z4. So in this bridge, what happened? You have to find out that unknown inductance is measured by the comparison with a standard variable capacitance. Okay, that means you are connected one capacitance that is parallel with one standard resistance, that is your R4. So both R4 and RC4 both can be varied. Okay, so you can change their value by changing that. In case of rheostat, you can change the slider. In case of capacitor, you can use some of the moving electrode. Okay, so it may be possible. So what is written like that? In case of Maxwell, it is your Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. So in this bridge, the unknown inductance is measured with a standard variable capacitance. It is much easier to obtain the standard value of variable capacitor with the acceptable degree of accuracy. So what is the difference between your Maxwell inductance bridge and Maxwell capacitance bridge? So in Maxwell inductance bridge, there is no such capacitor across your R4, but here you can see you are using one standard inductance in your arm AC, but here you are not using any standard inductor because you are using one capacitor that is connected parallel with your R4. Okay, so connected the parallel with your R4 means it is important. It is you are easily tune that value. What kinds of value you need to be tuned, because you are tuning the potential, you are balancing the potential B and C terminal. Okay, so if the potential of B and C terminal is same, okay, so there will be no current flow through this deflector. Okay, that's the basic issue. So here you can understand what is your unknown inductor. It is L1. Okay, so L1 is your unknown inductor. R1 is the series inductance, equivalent series resistance. Okay, so what is your series? It is R1 is your effective resistance, and branch AB, it's your branch AB. Branch AB is compared with the standard known variable capacitor. It is C4. Standard means you know that value, so you can change that value of capacitance. That's why it is known as standard. Okay, so the arm of CD. So you can, both are in acrossly represented. So you can able to find out that value by changing of this arm CD. Why this arm CD? Because you know that value Z1 Z4 equals to Z2 Z3. So which one is your Z1? It is your Z1. It is your Z1. And which one is your Z4? So this is your Z4. So you are changing that value, you are changing the capacitor value, so you can balance that value of Z1. Okay, so the other resistance R2, R3 and R4 are known as the non-inductive resistor. So it don't have any kinds of inductive property. The bridge is preferably balanced. The bridge is preferably balanced by varying C4 and R4, giving the independent adjustment setting. So if you have independent adjustment setting, means you are able to set that value of R4 and C4, so you can make this bridge balance. Okay, so what is your, at balance condition, what is your expression? Z1 by Z2 equals to Z3 by Z4. What is your Z1 by Z3 equal to Z2 by Z4? What is your Z1? Z1 is R1 and X1, R1 plus JX1. What is your JX1? It is R1 plus J omega L1. R1 plus J omega L1 whole divided by R Z3. What is your Z3? Z3 is your R3. Okay, and here you are able to get that Z2 by Z4. What is your Z2? Z2 is your R2. And what is your Z4? Z4 is R4 and JX4. JXC4 should be parallel. So what will be that value? So R4 into 1 by J omega C4 whole divided by R4 plus 1 by J omega C4. Okay, so if you cross multiplying, means if you arranging all those things, so what will be that final expression? Final expression will be R4 whole divided by 1 plus J omega C4 R4. So you can do the cross multiplication and finally you will get that expression. Now equating the real and imaginary part. So we have that value of R1 R4 equal to R2 R3. So almost it is same from your previous expression. In your previous expression it was R1 R4 equal to R2 R3. Okay, same thing is coming. Okay, so what is your R1? R1 is your unknown resistance value. So R1 equal to R2 into R3 by R4. And finally, what is J omega L1 R4 equals to J omega C4 R2 R3 C4 R4. So what is your L1? So R4 will be cancelled each other, J omega also be cancelled. So finally it is coming L1 equal to C4 R3 R2. Okay. So what is your unknown quantity? Unknown quantity is here L1 equal to coming that C4 R2 R3 and R1 equal to coming R2 into R3 by R4. So after that we should go for the phasor diagram. That is most important. So what is your basic prerequisite for the phasor diagram? So your bridge circuit should be balanced. Okay. So if your bridge circuit is balanced, then what happens? So your potential of VB and potential of VC means that VCB equals to 0. Okay, or VBC equals to 0. Okay, so if VBC equals to 0, so there will be no current flowing in between point B and C. Okay, and in this situation your I1 equal to I3, that means I1 and both of the cases it will be in series. So both of the cases I1 current will be flowing in second arm, so that means A, C, D arm, that I2 current will be flow. So again I2 current will be splitting here. One is R4, that current I2 current will be splitting into two paths. One is your IR, another one is your IC. Okay, so two things will be there. Two current, it is your IR, another one is it's your IC. So your I2 is splitting into two current path. Okay, I think all of you are able to understand. So what will be the value, final value? So you know that I2 equal to what? I2 equal to IR plus IC. First, in case of phasor diagram, one parameter should be at your reference. So we are considering that I1 is your reference. So if I1 is your reference, that means I1 should be in your x-axis. So here I1 is your x-axis. Then you know what is the value of V1 in equilibrium. V1 and V2 both should be same. In equilibrium, V1 and V2 both should be same, as well as V3 and V4 will be same. Okay, so what is your V1 and V2? So you can see that at equilibrium means V4 and V3 is same, and V1 and V2 will be same. It is your V1 and V2. But how do you get that V1 value? So first, what is your V1? V1 equal to I into R1 plus, what is your V1? I into R1 plus J omega L1. Okay. So what is your actual value? V1 equal to I1 R1 plus I1 J omega L1. So which one is your I1 R1? I1 R1 will be in your in phase of your I1 because it's your I1. So I1 means you are making that I1 as your reference. So if I1 is your reference, so I1 R1 should be in phase of your I1. Okay, because it's a resistive path, potential drop. So potential drop across the resistor, it should be in phase of your current through this resistive path. Okay, so the current through this resistive path means current through this R1 is your I1. So I1 and R1 I1 both should be in phase. So after that what happened? That inductor will be there. Inductor means J omega L1 I1. Okay, so it's your J omega L1 I1. So it's your J omega L1 I1 means J factor is there, so that may cause for 90-degree leading. So that may cause for 90-degree leading of your inductive path. So it will be coming over there. So it's your V1. That point is your V1. So V1 equal to what? I1 R1 plus omega I1 L1, and J term is there. That's why 90-degree leading. So finally it is your V1. So as it is in balanced condition, so V1 equal to V2. So V1 equal to V2 means what? What is the value of V2? V2 equal to what? It's your V2. So V2 equal to I2 into R2. So I2 into R2. So V2 and V1 equal to V2 equal to I2 R2. So V1 and I2 R2 should be in phase, and you know about that I2 R2 is the potential drop across the resistive path R2. So I2 and I2 R2 should be in phase. So what will be the direction of I2? So it is your direction of I2. So extension of your V1 V2 line. So it's your direction of I2. So your direction of I1 is here and your direction of I2 is here. Okay, so both of the cases you can able to understand the direction of I2. Now what happened for the V3? V3 equal to what? I1 R3. Again it should be in phase of your I1. So I1 R3 is your in phase, so it's your V3. So it's your VT terminal. Again V3 equal to what? V3 equal to V4. Again V3 equal to V4 means it's your V4. So V3 and V4 both are equal potential. Again V4 equal to what? V4 equal to two things are there. One is IR into R4. One is IR into R4. Another one is IC into 1 by J omega C4. Okay. So 1 by J omega C4. So IC V4 equal to IR into R4. So it is your IR into R4. So IR, it's a potential drop across the resistor. So IR and I1 both should be in phase. That's why it is your I1. So you are getting the value of I1. Then what happened? Then it's a capacitive in nature. Okay, so I1 equal to what? I1 equal to, sorry, I2 equal to IR plus IC. Okay, I2 equal to IR plus IC. So it is your I2 and it is your IR. So what will be the direction of current? So charging current always leading with your potential. Okay. So your IC direction will be there. That will be leading by 90 degree with your IC current will be 90 degree leading of your what? Of your IR. So or IR equal IR and I1 will be in phase. Okay, all are in phase, so it is 90 degree leading with your I1, so you are getting the value of I2. Okay, so I2 equal to what? IR plus IC. So now it is satisfying. So after that you have to add the vector sum. So what is the vector sum? Your total V equal to what? V equal to V2 plus V4 or V1 plus V3. As your V1 and V2 are same, you know that V1 and V2 are same, V3 and V4 are same. So vector addition of V1 or V2 to V3 and V4. So finally you will get that value of V. Okay. So I think all of you are able to understand the phasor diagram of Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge. So I think there is no confusion. If you have any confusion, you can ask me. Okay. So that's the basic idea of the Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. After that, what are the most important factors over there? So most important factors, you can think about it that an ideal inductor, that I have already told you, that ideal inductor, what do you mean by the ideal inductor? Will be lossless irrespective amount of current flowing through it. Definitely there will be no loss, means that ideal inductor there will be no term of there will be no term of R1, means equivalent series resistance R1 will be 0 in case of ideal inductor, means if L1 is ideal, so there will be no values of R1. So if R1 is 0, so it will be started from here, directly from there. Okay. So there will be no, however the real inductor have some non-zero resistance associated with it due to the resistance of the metal wire used for the inductor winding. So that's the basic reason for calculating the equivalent series resistance for your ideal for your practical inductor. But this series resistance cause the heat generation due to the power loss. Definitely, if current is flowing through this resistance, so I square R loss will be there. So I square R T loss will be there. It's called the heat generation. Okay. So Joule's law, as per the Joule's law. So in such case, the quality factor. So quality factor means what? Or the Q factor of such lossy inductor is used to indicate how closely the real inductor come to behave in the ideal inductor. So what is the significance of that quality factor? So quality factor signify that your lossy inductor how much close to your ideal inductor. Okay, so what is the basic importance of that quality factor? I think all of you are able to understand. Now the Q factor of an inductor is defined the ratio of its inductive reactance. Ratio of its inductive reactance means inductive reactance Q equal to inductive reactance whole divided by its resistance of the given frequency. So when that Q equal to 1, that means if your R and omega L, okay, both should be same, then you can say like that Q equal to 1. Okay, so when that Q equal to 0, Q equal to 0 means R equal to infinite. How is it possible? Then it will be open circuit. Okay, the Q is matured, so sorry, Q is measured of the frequency of the inductor. Definitely higher values of Q factor is close to approaches the behavior of an ideal. So behavior of the ideal inductor and lossless inductor. So always your tendency should be like that for making that Q value should be in higher end. If Q value is higher end, so your practical inductor is behaves like a near to the ideal inductor. So ideal inductor means lossless inductor. An ideal inductor would have an infinite Q all the frequencies that I am told you. For ideal inductor, what have an infinite Q? How do you make it infinite Q? If R equal to 0, so something by 0 means it's infinite, so Q will be in infinite for the ideal inductor. Okay. The Q factor of the inductor given the formula Q equal to omega L by R. So R is your internal resistance, R, that means series resistance, and omega L is the inductive reactance when the frequency is omega. Okay. The Q factor of the inductor can be increased by either increasing its inductive values by using the good ferromagnetic core, okay, or by reducing the winding resistance by the good quality of conductor material, or the special cases may be superconductor as be used. Okay. So all the cases your main idea should be like that you have to change or you have to improve, sorry, you have to change your Q value. Okay, how do you change your Q value? That means all the cases it should be in higher range. That's the basic prerequisite. Okay. And in case of Maxwell inductance capacitance V, so what is the value of Q? So you have to find out. Okay. So you know that in this case, which one is your unknown capacity, which one is your unknown value? So R1, L1. So what is your Q? Q equal to omega L1 by R1. Now you can replace the value of L1 and R1. So you know the value of L1 equal to C4 R4 R3 and R1 is R2 R3 by R4. So you can replace L1 R1 value and finally you will get that Q equal to omega C4 R4. So that's why it is written Q factor of the inductor under the measurement can be found at the balance condition. So definitely it should be in balance condition. So that's the basic issue. So sometimes the question may be asked, so find out the value of Q. Okay, find out the value of Q for the ideal cases. Okay, that you in that case you have to solve such problem in numerical point of view. Then what is the advantages of that Maxwell wheel? So you have to know about the advantages and the disadvantages. Okay, so in case of advantages, so what are the most important advantages? So you need to know about it. The balance equation are independent to each other, thus two variables means C4 and R4 can be varied independently. Okay, so what is the main important advantages? The balance equation are independent of each other. Thus two variables C4 and R4 can be varied independently. For tuning process you can vary C4 and R4 and both are the standard value. Okay, that means C4 R4 value is known to our because it is in our hands, so that value is known already. The final balance equations are independent of frequency. Okay, the unknown quantities can be denoted by simple expression involving known quantities. Okay, the balance equation is independent the loss associated with the inductor. So in this equation, so it is not loss inductance means it is independent of R1. Okay, so you can see that L1 value is independent with that R1. Okay, so that means R1 is the responsible for loss of the inductor. Okay, so if it is not present in the inductor value, that means expression, so it is one of the benefit. So R1 is not there. The wide range of inductance at the power and audio frequency can be measured. Okay, that's another issue. Wide range of inductance because you can vary the frequency, audio frequency. Okay, that's the important feature. So what are the most important disadvantages? So disadvantage is that the bridge for its operation required a standard variable capacitor. Okay, so standard variable capacitor, that means C4. C4 is in variable in nature. So standard variable capacitor which can be very expensive. Definitely moving electrode of a capacitor, means moving electrode capacitor is relatively much more expensive. If the high accuracies are asked for, in such a case, the fixed value capacitor are used. A fixed value capacitor are normally used, and the balance to achieve the varying that R4 and R2. So then what happens, as C4 is very expensive, so in the modified version they are making C4 is fixed, so there will be no varying path in C4, but R4 and R2 both should be in varying nature. That means here R2 is fixed, but it may be also possible that varying R2 and R4, so both will be in standard. Okay, this bridge is limited to measure for low Q inductors. Okay, only 1 to 10. The range will be 1 to 10. The Maxwell bridge also unsuited for the coil which having very low value. That means Q equal to less than 10. So it is not that bridge is not suitable for measurement for the Q value beyond the 10 as well as less than 1. So that is another limitation. Such low Q inductor can be found in the inductive resistors and RF coil. Okay. Maxwell's bridge find difficult and laborious to obtain balance while measuring such low Q inductor. That's the basic issue. So for that low Q inductors, Hay bridge. Okay, so in case of Hay bridge, you can understand, you can see the figure of this Hay bridge. So in case of Hay bridge, the modifications of Maxwell bridge. So Hay bridge is the modified version of your Maxwell bridge. So in case of Maxwell bridge, where is your C4? C4 is there parallel of your R4. But in this case, you can see that C4 is connected series with your R4. This method of measurement is particularly suited for high Q because your Maxwell inductor is not suitable for measurement of high quality factors measurement. The configuration of the Hay bridge and the associate phasor diagram under that is shown in that figure. So I have already given that phasor diagram. Okay, so in this case, which one is your unknown? All of you know about it. That L1 definitely will be your unknown value. Okay, so L1 is your unknown
The
inductance.
slide not
R1 is
changed.
your, what happened?
The slide not changed.
No, it is changing. I think so. All of you are having same problem.
Yes, sir, not changed.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
change
It
not be.
is still advantageous of Maxwell's.
Right now, is it visible?
No, sir.
Is
Yes,
it
sir. Yes, sir.
visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it visible right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Just
Start from the beginning, sir.
ha. Just listen carefully. Okay, so in case of Hay bridge is your what? Hay bridge is your modified version of your Maxwell bridge. So in case of Maxwell bridge, if you see that in your Maxwell bridge, what was there? Maxwell bridge that R4 and C4. So variable resistance R4 and C4 both are parallel each other. Okay, but in case of Hay bridge, you can see that R4 and C4 both are connected series together. Both are connected together. Okay, that means they are connected in series mode. Okay, and which one is your unknown portion? So definitely it is your unknown inductance L1. So for your unknown inductor L1, so you can see that figure. So unknown inductor L1 and it having equivalent series resistance R1 and it is given in the AB branch. It's your AB branch, that means it's your Z1. Compared with the standard known variable capacitor, it is C4 on the arm of CD. So it is your C4 arm of CD. This bridge uses for that what? It is for high Q inductors. It is much more suitable for that high Q measurement, and that bridge has a resistance of R4. So it having resistance of standard resistance of R4 in series with the standard capacitance C4, unlike Maxwell's bridge where R4 was in parallel with your C4. Okay, that's the difference with the Maxwell bridge to the Hayes bridge. Okay, so that's the basic prerequisite for Hayes bridge. The other resistances like R2 and R4 are known as non-inductive resistance. So R2 and R4 all are in the R2 and R3 both should have the non-inductive type resistance. Okay, so bridge will be balanced by varying the value of C4 and R4. Okay, so if you vary the value of C4 and R4, so that bridge will be balanced because C4 and R4 path is it is your Z1 path. Okay, it is your Z1 path, and C4 R4 path is your Z4 path. Okay, so you know the expression Z1 by Z4 equal to Z2 by Z3. Similar thing, Z1 is R1 plus J omega L1 by Z4 is your Z1 by Z3 equals to R2 by Z2 by Z4. So Z1 by Z3, it is your Z3 means R3 equal to Z2 by Z4. What is your Z4? R4 plus 1 by J omega C4. Okay. So if you change that position of J from numerator to denominator to numerator, so sign will be changed, so it will be coming like that, R2 by R4 minus J by omega C4. So finally you can cross multiply all the term, so finally you will get that R1 R4 equal to R1 R4 plus L1 by C4 equal plus J omega L1 R4 minus J R1 whole divided by omega C4 equal to R2 R3. So it is you can say like that real part. You can now equating the real and imaginary part. We have that equating real and imaginary part. We have R1 R4 plus L1 by C4 equal to R2 R3. So finally you will get that expression omega L1 R4 equal to R1 by omega C4. So you can equate all the cases. So finally you will get that expression of L1 and expression of R1. Okay, and what is the value of quality factor? Q equal to omega L1 by R1. Now you can replace the value of L1 and R1, you will get that final expression equal to omega C4 R4. That is, it is inverse of your Maxwell inductance capacitance B. So in case of Maxwell inductance capacitance B, it was omega Q equal to what? Omega C4 R4. But here you can see omega Q equal to 1 by omega C4 R4. Okay, that is inverse thing or reciprocal thing of your previous means Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. Okay, so now you need to draw that phasor diagram. Okay, what is your phasor diagram? So all the cases you should take one variable should be your reference. So which one you have considered as a reference? So we are considering that I1 is your reference. So it's your I1. So we are making that I1 is in your x-axis. That is your for reference. Then what is your V1? V1 equal to I1 whole into R1 plus J omega L1. So I1 R1, it's your I1 R1 that should be in phase of your I1 plus J factor is there. So 90 degree leading will be there. So J, it is your J omega I1 L1. Finally you will get that value of V1. Now as per balance condition, because it is in balance, okay, so balance condition V1 and V2 will be same. V1 V2 will be same. If V1 and V2 is same, then what will be that value? V1 and V2 are same. So if V1 V2 same, so it is, these points is known as V1 V2 point. Okay, so finally what will be that value? So V2 equal to what? V2 equal to, it is your V2 equal to I2 into R2. So what happened? I2 R2 and I2 should be in phase. V2 equal to I2 R2. So it should be in phase. Okay, so it's your I2. So I2 axis will be like that. The extension of that axis of your V2. Okay, so it is your I2. Now what happened? It's your I2. So here you can see what is your V3. V3 equal to what? V3 equal to I1 into R3. V3 equal to I1 into R3. It's your V3. Okay, it's your V3. So at equilibrium, that means at balance condition, your V3 and V4 both should be same. So if your V3 and V4 both is same, so it will be coming like that. V3 and V4 is same. Now what is your I2? I2 equals to coming the addition of what? It is the charging current IC. So what will be the direction of the IC? IC should be definitely, it will be 90 degree. Yeah. So what is your I2? It's your I2. So it is coming like that. So what is the potential drop? So V4 equal to what? V4 equal to coming I4 into I2 into R4. So V4 equal to what? So V4, it's your V4 equal to what? I2 into R4. So I2 into R4 plus, then plus what? Then it will be there I2 into 1 by J omega C4. 1 by J omega C4. So it is coming like that. What is your V4? V4 equals to, it is your C value. So it is coming 1 by, it is like that. So 1 by I2 whole divided by omega into C4. It will be 90 degree lagging with your I2 into R4. So you know that capacitor voltage always lagging with your main current, means potential, current through this resistance path. Okay, reference current, it will be 90 degree lagging, but capacitor voltage is 90 degree lagging, but capacitor current will be 90 degree leading. Okay, so finally you will get that value of V4. V4 equal to I2R4 plus I2 whole divided by omega C4. So it's your V4. So now you are getting that addition of V1. So what is your V? V equal to V1 plus V1 plus V4. So V1 plus V3. So V1 plus V3, it is V. So V1 plus V3, you are getting that value of V. Another cases, so V2 plus V4, it is V2 plus V4. So again it will be coming V. So I think you are able to understand the phasor diagram of Hayes bridge. So then most important thing is that the phasor diagram of Anderson bridge. Okay, so Anderson bridge is the most important bridge. That also be the modified version of your Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge. So in this case, the unknown inductor is expressed in terms of the standard known capacitor. So if you see the structure of the Anderson bridge, so which one is your unknown inductor? L1 is your unknown inductor. So here you are adding one variable resistance, that means rheostat series with your unknown inductance. Okay, and what is your R1? R1 is the equivalent series resistance of this inductor. Okay, so you can see the detector. So Z1, it's your Z1 path. Okay, it is connected in between A and B. Okay, it's your voltage drop is your V1. And you can see one detector is connected, but here the detector is connected, it's not connected in between B and C, but here you can see the detector is connected in between B and E. So the potential drop across B to E point will be 0 and potential will be same, that means the potential drop will be 0 for balance condition. Okay, so for balance condition, in this case that V1 is not equal to V2. So for the balance condition, in this case V1 equals to V2 plus the current passing through this path, means IC, we are considering IC into R. Okay, sorry. So the potential drop V1, that means the VAB equals to VAC plus VCE. Okay, so that's the basic conventions for the Anderson bridge. Okay, so what are the most important features? This method is applicable for precise measurement of inductance. Means Anderson bridge is normally used for very sophisticated measurement of the bridge circuit. Okay, so that's why it is known as precise measurement of the inductances over the wide range of values. Okay. So in this case you can see, so the figure shows the Anderson bridge configurations and corresponding phasor diagram, that I have already shown you, that corresponding phasor diagram. under the balance condition, definitely it should be in balance condition, the unknown inductor L1 of the effective resistance R1. So which one is your unknown inductance? It's your L1, and effective resistance means equivalent series resistance is your R1, and you can see the branch AB is compared with the standard known capacitor C on the arm of ED. So known capacitor is there, it is C capacitor, it will balance, it is a standard resistance, will be balancing that VB. So it is connected ED path. Okay, so ED path, arm of ED. The bridge is balanced by varying the value of C, varying the value of R. So bridge will be balanced only the varying the value of R. Okay. Under this balance condition, since no current will be flow through the detectors node B and E, that means they are in same potential. So under balance condition, there will be no current flow in between B and E. So that means it's the same potential. So there will be no current flow. So at balance condition, what happened? I have told you. For the balance condition, your V1 will be V2 plus IC into R, or in the form of current, how it will be writing like that? At balance condition, I2 equal to IC plus I4. So it is your IC, same current will be flowing over there IC and I4. So balance condition, I2 equal to IC plus I4. So there will be no current through this path. That's why this path is not considered. Okay, so only resistance R and capacitance C is considered in the series. Okay, so balance condition, I2 will be same of IC plus I4. Okay, so what is the value of IC? Value of IC is the J omega I1 R3 C. So what is the value of IC? IC is coming, how to get that value? So R and C both are in series, so it is coming R plus what? 1 by J omega C. Okay, both are in series, so R plus 1 by J omega C parallel with your R4. So what will be that expression? R plus 1 by J omega C into R4 whole divided by R plus 1 by J omega C plus R4. So if you equate them, so finally you will get which value? So finally you will get this value, it is coming J by J omega whole divided by I1 R2. Then you can understand, you can do that basic steps in your in your home. Okay, so I think you are able to understand how do you get that value. So I am giving that expression so of the phasor diagram. So it is your home task. Okay, so I think it is I think you are able to understand. If you face any kinds of difficulties, so you can ask me in my next class, because what is the basic confusions of your Anderson bridge. So all of you try to draw the phasor diagram of Anderson bridge, because at the time of examination one question will be there from the phasor diagram of the Anderson bridge. So because the solving of the Anderson bridge numerical problem. Okay, so what is written over there as a phasor diagram? It is written that figure I1 and V3. So phasor diagram in figure. So I1, definitely you should be considered one current as a reference. Okay, so I1 is all the cases you are considering is the reference. So what is your V1? V1 equal to I1 R1 means small r1, I1 small r1 plus I1 capital R1 plus J I1 omega L1. Okay, so that should be there. It is your V1. V1 equal to I1 whole into R1 plus R1. Okay, and this path totally is coming, what is this path? So this path is there omega I1 L1. Okay, that means that big path. Okay, and it will be 90 degree. It will be 90 degree apart from your I1 R1 plus R1. Okay, so it is coming V1. Now what is your I1 R3? So what is your V3? Definitely V3 will be in phase of your I3, because I1 and R3 will be in phase. So what is your V3? V3 is I1 into R3. So V3 is your I1 into V3 is your I1 into R3, or you can say like that I3 into R3. So I3 and I1 both are same. That's why it is written I1 into R3. It is written I1 equal to R3. So it is your V3. So you are able to find out 2 points. One is V1, another one is V4. But what is your V? You are able to find out two things. Okay. So one is your V1, another one is V3. Okay. But what is your V? V is coming V1 plus V3. So directly you will get that value of V. But rest of the point you need to find out. So rest of the point means what? You have to find out V2 and V4. So how do you get that value of V2 and V4? So what is your V2? V2 is I2 into R2, but what is the direction of I2? I2, the expression is IC plus I4. So how to get the value of I2? Okay, so you have to know about that value. So here you can see what is the value of V1 at equilibrium. At equilibrium, V1 equal to V2 plus IC plus R. Okay, IC plus R. So V2 plus IC plus V2 plus IC plus R. So what is the current of IC? Again, IC current equals to what? I2 plus I2 equal to what? IC plus I4, and I4 and R4 should be in phase. So what will be your I4 and R4? Because you can get that value. So it is your V2. Why it is your V2? V2 equal to I2 into R4. So but how to get that value of I2? Okay, so because if you know the value of V3, so V3 equal to, again what? V3 equal to IC whole divided by omega J omega C. So what is your value of V3? V3 equal to what? IC whole divided by omega C, that is your VC. So what is the direction of IC? So definitely the direction of the IC will be leading by 90 degree of your V3. So what is the direction of V3? V3 is in phase of your I1. So what is the value of IC? IC will be definitely, as per convention, 90 degree leading of your V3. So it is the direction of IC. So IC is coming over there. So what is the value of IC into R? So IC into R is the resistive in nature. So IC into R should be in phase of your IC. So it is parallel. So it is your V1. So this portion is your IC into R. So rest of the portion will be what? Rest of the portion will be your V2. So that's why this portion. So from here, so if this point, it is your V2. Okay, so but you don't know that expression of V2. So what is the expression of V2? V2 is coming what? I2 into R2. V2 equal to what? I2 into R2. So what will be the direction of I2? That you need to find out. So your V1 equal to ICR plus V2. You will get the value of IC into R. But how to get the value of V2? So you need to add this 0.2 IC into R point. So you are getting the value of V2. So this arrow line is your V2. So you know one thing, that V2 equal to what? I2 into R2. So your V2 path and I2 path should be in phase. That's why your I2 and V2 is in phase. So it's your I2. So you are easily get that value is your I2. Okay, because V2, it's this line is your V2 line. Okay, so V2 line and I2 should be in phase. Okay, so what is the value of I2? I2 equal to IC plus I4. So you know the value of IC. So if you know the value of IC, so you can subtract from I2 to IC. So this portion will come. So this dotted line will become, that is your what? That is your I4. So you can draw the parallel line of this dotted line. So it's your I4. So it is your I4. Now what is your V4? V4 equal to what? V4 equal to I4 into R4. So you can extend this line up to some value. So because V4 equal to I4 into R4, that should be in phase of your I4 because it is in resistive potential drop. So it is your V4. This line is your V4. It is your V4, and the value is V4 equal to I4 into R4. So you will get the value of V4 and V2. You will get that value V4 and V2, and as well as you are able to find out the value of VC. VC is there. Okay, so what will be the value of V? V equals to what? V2 plus V4. So V2 is here, it is your V2, and what is your V4? It is your V4. So you can both, all of them, you will get the value of V. Okay. So I think you are able to understand how to get that value. So entire thing is written over here, this paragraph. So you can go through this passage. Okay, because I will upload this video. You can check it in your you can check this video in YouTube because it is available in your YouTube. So you can go through that write-up portion. So you are you are able to understand very easily. Okay, and do the mathematical steps. Okay, and do all the mathematical steps. How do you find out the value of R1? So it is your classwork. So you should write all the expressions in your classwork copy. Okay. So it is enough for today. So today I have completed 3 things. That is your Anderson bridge. Okay, that is your Anderson bridge. That is most important. Hayes bridge and your Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. Okay. If you have any kind of doubt and any kinds of discussions are required, so in my next class, means Thursday, I will discuss about the doubt and other confusions. Okay, so before my next class, all of you should complete, okay, all the mathematical steps and the phasor diagram from all the bridge circuits. Okay, that is your classwork, that is your homework, and your homework should be covered in your classwork copy because we are only preparing only one note copy. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. Thank you.